Hi guys, it's Nik the Booksmith. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to work on some DIY embellishments because maybe you want to personalize your junk journals or your albums or cards or whatever it is that you like to craft. These can also be applied for like jewelry and that kind of thing. And so yeah, let's get started. So what really inspired me was I was looking at vintage typewriter keys, like the real deal from, 100-year-old or older typewriters. And holy cow, they're expensive. Like each key is like $4. $4. And most of the time you don't get to choose what key that is. They just send you a random key and I'm like, I think that's a lot of money. So what I decided to do was make my own, and let me kind of explain how I did that. Let me show you some. I should get here's a piece of cardstock so you can see them a little bit better. Now, of course, they are not perfect. These are DIY typewriter keys. So, take that with a grain of salt, my friends. But I think they're kind of cute, right? So I just did some random letters, numbers, and then I really liked the shift lock and the margin release and the the backspace, and so they were just kind of cute, right? Okay, so let me explain. What I did was I went to Joann's and I got their the Crayola air dry clay, and this happened to be on sale. Normally in the States this is like $6.99. Excuse me. But all the Crayola stuff was half off. So I got this tub of 2.5 pounds of white clay, for $3.50. So that's not bad. This is a lot of clay. I barely, like what I'm going to show you today, I barely used any. So I think it lasts a long time. I did put a piece of plastic wrap in between the clay and the lid this time to keep it from drying out. I think unless you used it all, I probably am gonna lose some at some point. There's a lot of clay in here. So the reason why I used the air dry clay as opposed to the like the polymer is this is a natural earth clay, and so you can just leave it out to dry overnight, or depending on your humidity, it may take a little while longer. You don't have to bake it or anything like that. I did use a hair dryer on a low setting to finish off drying some of these. I kind of set the hair dryer up where it was just blowing nice warm air on some of the projects because they were kind of like half dry and I kind of needed it to hurry up. And I did not leave the room. I was washing dishes and I just kind of set it on there. So I didn't leave the room, but it really did help dry it out. So anyway, I think less people would be sensitive to the real clay than they would be to polymers. So I thought this might be an over-round good thing to do. Okay. So what I did was I rolled out some clay and I used popsicle sticks, just regular craft sticks, for my guides. And so, they came out, I rolled it out about that thin. And then, because what you do, I guess I could do it for you. Hold on. Okay. Look at me all talking. I'm just not even going to show you what I do, right? That's cheap. That's cheap. Cheap tricks. So here is my clay. As you can see, hardly any has been used, and I'll just take out a little section here because that will make several. Put the lid back. Always put the lid back on because man, it can dry out fast. Okay. So this stuff is fairly forgiving, and I'll tell you what, I need a smaller roller because This is the one I'm using. This is a fondant roller. This is like back in the day when I was, you know, decorating cakes. This was my fondant roller, and I hated working with fondant. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But anyway, but sometimes you needed to roll things. It rolls out pie crust real well. So, but I need one of those, you know, the smaller ones. So anyway, but the popsicle sticks are great, or the craft sticks, whatever you want to call them, because they keep it nice and even. You want everything even. And this is where it gets a little tricky, is you're going to have to find something, excuse me, there's some dust in here, something's getting me this morning. You're going to have to find you have to jimmy rig some things. So I found this, just some chapstick with this nice smooth cap. And then this is the lid to a pump sprayer of walnut ink is what this is. So I took this, and this is a 1/2 inch approximately, and I just barely made a little indentation in the clay. And don't put them too close together. You can always re-roll this back up and then punch out some more. Like I said, it's really forgiving. So just a nice little indentation. You don't have to go down real deep. And then you take this little dude and you kind of center it over those little indentions. And it takes a little bit of practice at first, and this is just barely, sometimes I make a little indentation. This is just barely bigger than the indentation. And then I put a hole in the top of there so that I could blow in the top and then be able to pull this out. Does that make any sense? Okay. So here is my little key. See if that'll show up. There we go. See, it's not even centered, but that's okay. It's okay. We're not paying $4 a piece for this. And then what I did was I just punched out a whole bunch. And like I said, sometimes you have to, see, that was too far over that way. There we go. That's perfect. And then I blow in the top. Oh, this one came out really, really nice. And you kind of got to form it back into position a little bit. But look at that little dude, okay? All right, so we punched out a whole bunch of those. I will set this aside. And then what I did when they were all dry is I just took some silver spray paint, and it happened to be Rust-Oleum aluminum color. So it wasn't actually silver, it's aluminum color. And I sprayed the backs, and then I sprayed the fronts. And then I looked online for some stock photos of typewriter keys. And on, I believe the one that I chose for these was, if you Google altered artifacts and then typewriter keys, I believe it will show up. I will try to get that link for you and put it down in the description bar. The person, I think it's a lady. I think it's a lady. She put in the terms of use that you can use it for personal use or like small business. So you can use it in your crafts. So, and I'm not selling these, so it doesn't matter. So I printed those out, and this is the fiddly part, is I have Photoshop. So I was able to size these the size that I wanted. If you do not have Photoshop, what I suggest is print them out first, and I just printed them out on regular copy paper, just regular typing paper, and I used my color laser printer, and I'm assuming you could use an inkjet too. I don't think it would matter. So go ahead and print it out, and then cut out your little circles, and then you'll be able to find the size of indentation according to the actual print, instead of finding this and then making the print match this size. Does that make any sense? So that would be easier if you don't have Photoshop. If you have Photoshop or other photo editing software, you do what you want, you know. So anyway, I sprayed those, and then I cut out all my little circles, and basically what I did was I took my Fabrifix, which does dissolve the paint a little bit, by the way. So you can use any glue, but that's just what I had on my desk. And then I just put the little the little circles inside the little silver indentions, and we made little baby typewriter keys that are not $4 a piece. Now, if you want to make jewelry and you want the real deal, I absolutely understand. Go buy those because they're awesome for all kinds of things. But if you would just like to have some to glue into like little collage-y things in your junk journals, I mean, how cute are these? You could spell out a word. I did enough so that I could do Nik if I wanted to. So there's Nik, and I could have the shift key and the margin release. I mean, you can do whatever you'd like. But I don't know. I thought they were super, super, super cute, and I'm a big, huge geek, so I just love this kind of stuff. So I hope you make some of those. Okay, and then while I had the clay out, because you know, the clay was out, I made some more stuff. So let me bring over my cutting board here. So I punched out some circles, and what I used was, because I don't have any punches really, I used some pastry tips, some icing tips. So, because I've got dozens of these, so this was my medium, this was my small, this was my large, so that's what I punched them out with. And move that out of the way. And then what I did was, you can stamp on, come on, hello. So you can stamp on them first. And so some of them I did stamp first, and some of them I thought I left them blank. Oh, this is the one that I left blank. And then I painted it, and then I put some copper gilder's wax around the edge, and then I put a little copper dragonfly to make this little charm. But all the others that you see with like these guys. All of these guys. Get this one. All of these I stamped first. So I stamped the clay first, and I just used the popsicle sticks to keep my clay nice and even. And I mean, it's going to have some variation in it, but then I just used my stamps, and let's see. Oh, these are so dirty. I haven't washed them yet, so you know, don't judge me. So these were just some that I had gotten at, I think, Joann's, and they're just some floral, like greenery type. And then that's what made that little ferny stamp. And then this guy right here was that big script stamp. Oh, here it is. There it is. So it's this guy. And I got this one at Joann's too. And so that was the script. And then what I did was I just used regular ink, and you put your ink on here, and then you don't have to stamp heavy. You just barely press it down and make sure it's adhered all the way around, but you don't have to jam it down. And then you get a little bit of an indentation, and you get your ink in there, and it makes, you know, purties. That one says notes. It's so cute. And then what I used for the words is I just have these little alphabet stamps, and I think I got these at Michael's. They were like $1 for the whole alphabet, you know. So anyway, so that's what I did with those. And then some of them I went ahead and I inked them, or I used acrylic paint, or I just took some of the gilder's wax and just rubbed it over the top, and then it doesn't sink down into the script part if you just rub it real carefully on the top. And then these were painted first, and then I rubbed over it with the gilder's wax. But aren't they pretty? So you could use these, like I said, in jewelry or for charms in your books. So these are some that I have my name on. And then I just rubbed these with, there we go. Like this one was painted green first, and this one was painted, I think, red or purple, and then I rubbed over it with the gilder's wax. But they look like little coins. They look like metal. So anyway, let's see, what else I made buttons. So here are some little buttons, and it's basically the same thing. I just punched 2 holes in the middle instead of the 1 hole up at the top. So yeah, so I had fun, and I played, and I just made the hole big enough so that, and I think I used, this is the number 5 round, the number 5 round icing tip. And so, and a number 5 should be universal. So it's just the little number 5 round. And that's what I used to punch the little holes. And then it fits perfectly if I didn't set it somewhere where I can't see it now, because that's what I do. I set stuff aside and then I can't find it. So my little garment pins that I like to attach charms with, they are perfect to just take one of these and then you can hang them on. And I didn't do anything extra to these. I didn't add any gilder's wax. I like the white with just the pretty green stamp on there. So you can play with your inks. And this one had navy and green, and this one had green and kind of a olive color. So lots of things that you can do. I made a little shipping tag. I haven't done anything. I did put a stamp on it, but nothing else. But I think these would be cute to personalize. You could put a person's name on them or initials or your store's name, whatever you would like to do. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little project. So get some Crayola air dry clay or whatever brand you like to get, and have some fun. Make some little charms and embellishments and typewriter keys. Typewriter keys. Because, you know, this was the fun thing. This was the fun thing. I'm going to use these too. So I'll show you what else I did while I was making typewriter keys. Is I made this pendant for myself, and I saw these on Pinterest, and I guess they're all over Etsy, and I haven't looked all over Etsy. I just saw lots of different companies making this kind of thing. I'm not selling these, I just made this for me. So look at the little book up on top. It says Edgar Allan Poe. And then there's a little typewriter, and if you can read that, it says, "Quoth the Raven, nevermore, Poe." And then I have 2 little typewriter keys at the bottom with his initials on it. And then on the back of the pendant is one of his quotes that I absolutely adore. And I used aged paper, you know, background on that. And then I also backed it with the typewriter and the initials, so that if the pendant flops the other way while you're wearing it, it doesn't look like you're looking at the back of it. So I need to put this on a chain, and it's about how long is this? It's about 4 inches long, but it's super lightweight. I mean, you could even make earrings out of these if you really like the dangles. You could, I guess this could be an earring, and then this could be an earring. You could, you know, do the mix match thing. So, but cute, right? And these were just printed out on with my color laser printer. And then what I did was I took some cardstock, but this was, let me show you what I used. This is an old file folder, and I mean, we're talking, this is from the 50s. And so it's kind of stiff, and it was not easy to cut this out. So these were the little prints after I cut them out of I just used regular copy paper. So I cut those out, and then they needed to be a little firmer. So that's why I cut the shapes out of this, and then I painted it black, and then I put the images on. And then I put a real thin coat of Mod Podge, just super duper thin coat of Mod Podge on the top. Or you could also use some clear matte, you know, the enamel spray. So, okay, so that is that for the day. That's my show and tell, and I hope you guys take some of these ideas and make some of your own embellishments. Another thing I wanted to say is on my school at Teachable, starting now through Cyber Monday, you can use the code down in the description box to get 25% off of either of the courses that are there right now. I'm about to load up a new course, but it probably won't be till the end of the week. So it's not going to include that one because I'm not even done with that one. I just need a few more days to edit. So, but the 2 courses, the 1902 Philadelphia book cover and the ledger folio for traveler's notebooks, those will be 25% off if you enter the code. So remember, you have to enter the code when you enroll and purchase that course. Okay, guys, thank you for hanging out with me today. Thank you for playing with me today. And let me know down in the description box if you decide to make any of these and use them in your stuff. All right, guys, I'll catch you very, very soon in the next video, and have a great day. Bye, guys.